When Minnesota's weather turns cold and hostile, scuba divers flock to the warmer waters of the Caribbean and Pacific Islands. But this year, international travel is being replaced by road trips, and many people are discovering the thrill of deep water dives in northern Minnesota's abandoned mine pits.
The mine pits specifically are just phenomenal because they're incredibly clear in comparison with normal lakes. There's a lot of fish life that are interesting to see. You can actually see them. In a normal lake, you might see a puff of silt where a fish was because they'll sense you coming and they'll take off. And there's a lot of foundations of buildings and mine shafts and cars and trucks and railroad rails and all sorts of things that were left over from the mining days too. So it's quite interesting. A lot of really cool walls that you can dive on. Yeah, it's a popular spot out there.
Minnesota School of Diving owner Todd Matthews and other experienced divers lead fun dives in mine pits from May through October.
We've got a lot of the same people. A lot of the same people have been diving with us for 30 years, 20 years. They really become family, but then there's a lot of people that are coming up for the first time, making that transition from their training to actually getting out there and just enjoying themselves. So we've got these mines, both the Cuyuna Range, which has the Cuyuna State Rec area. There's also a series of mines up in the Virginia area, up there, Gilbert and that. The Mesabi Range, some of those are now opening up for diving too. There's a place called Orbegon in Gilbert. They encouraged divers to actually plant items down there. I think there's a helicopter in there, there's a school bus. People like to put skeletons down there, the little plastic skeletons. So there's one hanging from a tree in one of the mines with a plastic skeleton of a vulture kind of hanging over its shoulder. There's another one, there's a bartender behind a bar, a pirate bartender, whatever, that's serving up drinks in one of the mines. There's another pirate in a sailboat, so the skeletons have become quite popular for people to do that and just put them in different positions.
At least once a summer, Todd leads a Great Lakes shipwreck tour. Decades ago, divers stopped bringing up artifacts from these wrecks so that they could remain intact for others to enjoy.
The shipwrecks there are phenomenal too because that's all freshwater. The freshwater preserves the wrecks very well. There's a few wrecks up there that are actually wooden that sank over 100 years ago that are still in pristine, pretty much pristine condition. There's still paint on the side of their hulls.
Every few years, Todd will also organize a diving trip to the international destinations such as Chuuk Lagoon in the West Pacific, where Americans bombed a large Japanese naval base during World War II.
We hear that it is a complex of heavily fortified
I think it's 65 Japanese ships were sunk there. And you can go dive on those. And some of the wrecks are still Army tanks strapped to the deck of the wrecks. There's airplanes, complete airplanes inside, like Japanese Zero fighter planes are in there. There's all sorts of live ordnance, like big 16-inch, 18-inch shells for the Yamato and Musashi battleships. So all these things are still in these wrecks.
Todd owns two facilities. The newest is in St. Cloud, and the original dive school is in Brainerd, where his father started the business in 1959. The schools offer different levels of training and certifications, ranging from Discover Scuba, for those who just want to try it out, to the full PADI Open Water Diver Certification course. Learning to dive in cold water has its advantages.
Because if you know you can dive in cold water with all the gear that's required, you can do it in warm water. It's much easier. And then just work on your diving. Don't try to add a bunch of stuff, like don't try carrying a camera right away. Just work on becoming comfortable diving and get that down. For a lot of people, once they get certified in the cold water and then experience a warm water trip, they never go back in the cold water. But I actually liked it.
Because water temperatures drop from the 50s to the 30s when you're at 60 feet, Curtis switched from a wetsuit to a dry suit. Wetsuits allow a thin layer of water inside the suit, whereas a dry suit offers protection from cold water with neck and wrist seals, glue-down boots, and insulated clothes underneath.
And that just changes your whole perspective on diving, because now you have a perpetual dive season. You can dive all through winter if you want, cut a hole in the ice, jump in and go. The Great Lakes became a possibility. They never warm up. You're always in cold, near freezing water, so started doing shipwrecks and started exploring some of the deeper pits here in Cuyuna and saw some stuff that you can't see unless you're willing to go deeper.
To see the Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees, made by Curtis's friend Doug, requires diving down 115 feet to the bottom of the Louise Pit.
And we've had a lot of people inquiring about, I want to get to Jason Voorhees. Well, we have to be pretty concerned about what their experience level is, because it's not an easy dive going to 115. So.
Some stuff is plunged into the water to cover up a crime, like guns and cars.
Myself and most of my staff are members of the Crow Wing County Dive Rescue Squad, so when we see any new vehicle that's in there, obviously we're concerned about the oil, the gasoline, any kind of contamination. We report it, try to get a VIN number, serial or a license plate number to report it, and usually those items are pulled out.
A volunteer dive squad's mission can be heartbreaking when the search is for a drowning victim.
What motivates us as divers for that squad is trying to understand or empathize with the members of the family of the lost victim. You can't imagine anything probably more horrific than having to spend a night with your loved one still in the water. So we'll do everything we possibly can to try to find them as quickly as possible.
Most diving excursions bring peace and relaxation.
Diving really isn't a thrill-seeking thing. I think more people get injured bowling than they do diving. Most people just want it as an escape to swim around, enjoy themselves, and look at stuff, and, have the camaraderie of our groups that we've got to go out.
The upfront cost can be a little shocking to some people. I think for the classes, and if you want a full set of gear, it's probably going to cost you about $2,000, but after that, it's pretty cheap if you dive local. It's $4 for a fill in your tank, and you can go out and dive. If I'm near water, I always want to jump in and see what's in there. What am I missing out on by staying on shore? I carry my camera every dive. I don't turn it on and shoot every dive, but it's definitely with me every time I get in the water.
The first time Curtis attempted to film his friend Doug catching fish underwater, a bass hammered the lure right in front of his camera. They were hooked and went on to film all sorts of fish like sunfish, crappies, rainbow trout, and northern pike.
I really like showing people fish in the freshwater lakes. All the saltwater stuff that I shoot is really great and it's pretty and everything, but anybody can see that.
Like Curtis, Todd prefers seeing natural over planted items in the water.
I'd rather go see these other items, the mining artifacts, the fish, good visibility, that's more important to me.
It's a great stress reliever, because when you go down, you don't have your phone, you don't have anybody talking to you. The only sound that you hear is your breathing. It's really nice, quiet, peaceful.